Welcome to the Kentucky Education and Labor Cabinet Office of Occupational Safety and Health online training resource. This class is presented as a service of the Division of Education and Training. Please read the following disclaimer. Welcome to the course, Personal Fall Protection Systems. This module will cover 1910.140, where we will discuss the performance, care, and use criteria for all personal fall protection systems. The employer must ensure that each personal fall protection system used complies with and meets the requirements of this section. This section establishes performance, care, and use criteria for all personal fall protection systems. Every employer must ensure that all personal fall arrest systems in their facility meet the requirements of 1910.140, paragraphs C and D, and positioning devices must meet the requirements of paragraphs C and E of this section. Connectors should meet both standard 1910.140 C1 and C2, with a manufacturer finish of a drop forged, pressed, formed steel, or corrosion-resistant finish, with surfaces and edges that should be smooth so damage is prevented. 1910.140C3 states that employees must be individually attached when using vertical lifelines, with an exception of people working on elevator shafts. When two people are working on an elevator shaft, they can be attached to one vertical lifeline. 1910.140C4 states the minimum braking strength of a lanyard and vertical lifeline should be 5,000 pounds, or roughly the equivalent of a pickup truck. Section C5 states, when there is an automatic limit free fall distance of 2 feet or less with a self-retracting lifeline, then it must have components that are capable of sustaining a tensile load of 3,000 pounds. This should withstand when the device with the lifeline or lanyard is in the fully extended position. When comparing tensile load to kinetic load, tensile load is that of weight without moving, and kinetic is the moving of a live load. Self-retracting lifelines and lanyards, which do not limit freefall distance to 2 feet or less, rip-stitch lanyards, and tearing and deforming lanyards, shall be capable of sustaining a minimum tensile load of 5,000 pounds when fully extended. 1910.140C6 states that each knot in a lanyard or vertical lifeline should be inspected by a competent or qualified person to ensure that it meets the requirements of Section C4 and C5 before any employee uses the lanyard or lifeline. Section C7 states 5,000 pounds should be the minimum tensile load of any D-ring, snap hook, or carabiner. 1910.140C8 states the tested minimum stress load should be 3,600 pounds for D-rings, snap hooks, and carabiners without cracking, breaking, or obtaining permanent distortion. Snap hook and carabiners' gate strength should be able to withstand 3,600 pounds without the gate separating from the nose of the snap hook or carabiner body by more than 0.125 inches. Also see 1910.140C17, inspection of system and components after impact loading. Also, see 1910.140 Appendix C, Section G, inspection considerations. If upon inspection by a qualified person it is determined that the separation of the gate and nose of a snap hook is unsafe, it should be removed from service. Snap hooks must also be the locking type with a double locking feature, designed and used to prevent the disengagement of the snap hook by the contact of the snap hook keeper with the connected member. Section C9, all snap hooks and carabiners should be the automatic locking type, and this automatic locking type should require at least 2 separate consecutive movements to open. 1910.140C10 states, unless it is designed for the following connections, snap hooks and carabiners must not be engaged directly to webbing, rope, or wire rope, to each other, to a D-ring to which another snap hook, carabiner, or connector is attached, or to a horizontal lifeline. When not compatible to snap hooks or carabiners, a potential disengagement could be possible. 1910.140C11 states a horizontal lifeline should be insured by the employer in such a manner as designed, installed, and used in supervision of a qualified person, or supervised by a qualified person, designed and installed by the employer, and is part of a complete personal fall arrest system that maintains a safety factor of at least 2. Anchorage that is used to attach to a personal fall protection system must be attached to an independent platform, and this independent platform must be able to support 5,000 pounds. or if they are on a mobile platform, they should be attached to the center of the platform. 1910.140C13, excluding window cleaners' belt anchors in paragraph E, anchorage must be capable of supporting at least 5,000 pounds of an individual employee and should be installed and designed and used under the supervision of a qualified person. This is part of a complete fall protection system that will maintain a safety factor of at least 2. 1910.140C14 states travel restraint lines should have a tensile load of at least 5,000 pounds. Natural fiber rope should not be used in personal fall protection systems. Polypropylene rope must contain a UV light inhibitor. This keeps the sun and weather from breaking down the rope. Personal fall protection systems should only be used for employees' fall protection and never for any other purpose such as hoisting equipment or materials. When a personal fall protection system or component has had impact or possible impact, then it must be removed from service immediately and should not be used again until it can be inspected by a competent person. This inspection should determine whether the component of the fall protection system is damaged or is safe to use by employees. Inspection of personal fall protection systems must happen before each work shift use. A few things workers should be looking for are mildew, wear and tear, damage, or other deterioration, as well as defective components. Any defective personal fall arrest system should be taken out of service. All connectors should be compatible with ropes, belts, lanyards, and harnesses used for personal fall arrest systems. And personal fall protection systems such as ropes, belts, lanyards, lifelines, and harnesses must be protected from cuts, scrapes, melting, or damage in any other way. A quick rescue must be provided by the employer in the event of a fall. Personal fall arrest systems should be properly worn. The attachment point of the body harness should be located in the center of the back near the shoulder level. The attachment point may be located in the pre-sternal position if the free fall distance is limited to 2 feet or less. In addition to paragraph C of 1910.140, general requirements, the employer must ensure the personal fall arrest system meets the system performance criteria. Limit the maximum arresting force on the employee to 1,800 pounds. It should bring the employee to a complete stop and limit the maximum deceleration distance the employee travels to 3.5 feet, and must be strong enough to withstand twice the potential impact energy of an employee who free falls 6 feet or the distance allowed by the system. The system and strap configuration should not make contact with the employee's neck and chin area when free fall has happened. 1910.140 D1 Roman numeral 5 essentially says that if the protocols and criteria in Appendix D is followed for 310 pounds or more, then the requirements have been met for Section D1 Roman numeral 1 through Roman numeral 3. Under 1910.140 D2, employers must ensure the following. Any horizontal lifeline that can become a vertical lifeline is capable of locking in both directions on the lifeline. Personal fall arrest systems should not allow free fall more than 6 feet or make contact with the lower level. If the employer can demonstrate that the manufacturer has allowed the free fall to be more than 6 feet and has tested the system and determined that the maximum arresting force of 1,800 pounds is not exceeded, then the employer can allow it to be more than 6 feet. 1910.140 D3 is pretty simple. Body belts are prohibited as part of a personal fall protection system. 1910.140E states employers need to ensure that each of the following criteria is followed for positioning systems. All positioning systems should withstand a drop test of 4 feet and a drop weight of 250 pounds. This does not pertain to window cleaners. Window cleaners' positioning systems must be able to withstand a drop test of 6 feet and a drop weight of 250 pounds, along with no failure. 2,000 pounds should be the initial arresting force of a falling employee. The duration should not exceed 2 milliseconds, and any following arrest force should not be more than 1,000 pounds. Test methods for positioning systems and window cleaning positioning systems should meet the criteria of Appendix D, and this should be in compliance with paragraphs E1, Roman numeral 1, and Roman numeral 2. Lineman's body belt and pole strap should meet the following criteria. A dielectric test of 819.7 volt AC per centimeter for 3 minutes without visible deterioration. A dielectric test is to ensure that there is an effectiveness within the wiring insulation. A leakage test of 98.4 volts AC per centimeter with current leakage of no more than 1 milliamp, and a flammability test in accordance with Table I-7, seen later in this section. The employer must ensure that window cleaners' positioning systems meet and are used in accordance with the following. Window cleaners' belts are designed and constructed so that if a terminal comes loose from a window anchor, a belt terminal shall not pass through the fastening on the belt or harness, and the runner from the terminal tip to terminal tip is 8 feet or less from the length. Window anchors should be fastened and installed in the side frames. Mullions of windows at a point not less than 42 inches and not more than 51 inches above the windowsill. Window anchors should be capable of supporting a minimum load of 6,000 pounds, and using the installed window anchors for any purpose other than attaching them to a window cleaner's belt is prohibited. A window anchor that is damaged, has deteriorated fastenings, supports are removed, or the window anchor head is detached so the anchor cannot be used. Rope that has wear or deterioration that affects its strength should be taken out of service. The terminals of both window cleaners' belts are attached to separate window anchors during any cleaning operation. Windowsills with inclement weather such as snow and ice, any slippery conditions, and any weakened or rotted sills shall not be worked on by employees. Windowsills or ledges should not be worked on by employees unless a windowsill or ledge is a minimum of 4 inches wide and slopes no more than 15 degrees below horizontal, or a 4-inch minimum width of the windowsill or ledge is increased by 0.4 inches for every degree the sill or ledge slopes beyond 15 degrees, up to a maximum of 30 degrees. Employees should attach at least one belt terminal to a window anchor before climbing through the window opening, and should keep at least one terminal attached until completely back inside the window opening. Employees should only travel from one window to another by returning inside the building and repeating the belt terminal attachment procedure described in section E2 Roman numeral 10 before going outside the building through a different window. Employees may travel from one window to another while they remain outside the building only when they follow all of the requirements listed in section E2 Roman numeral 12, covered on the next slide. Employees using a window cleaner's positioning system may travel from one window to another while outside the building, provided the following. One belt terminal should be attached to a window anchor at all times. The distance between the window anchors does not exceed 4 feet horizontally. If the ledge is at least 1 foot wide and the slope is less than 5 degrees, the distance between the window may increase up to 6 feet horizontally. The sill or ledge between the windows is continuous, and the width of the windowsill or ledge in front of the mullions is at least 6 inches. This is Table I-7, the flammability test mentioned earlier. Take a few moments to familiarize yourself with it. This is the definition section of the module, and they are arranged alphabetically. You may take as long as you would like on each page, and click the Next button when you're ready to move on. This concludes Personal Fall Protection Systems. Be sure to check out more of our free online learning opportunities on our website, and as always, thank you for taking this course.